down to 72. We're going uphill. I'm a bit of a fatty. Oh no! We might have to go into 5th gear. This is Yamaha's MT-125. It has aggressive looks. It has variable valve actuation. But is it any fun to ride? I'm going to rag the absolute bejesus out of it, and I'll let you know. So if you're just starting your motorcycle career, you would be looking at something like this, which is a 125cc motorcycle, and this is Yamaha's MT-125. So the styling is quite aggressive, definitely going to appeal to the younger people. It's definitely appealing to the younger person in me. Oh, right, yeah, we've got a 125cc single cylinder. It's got 2 intake cams. It's got variable valve actuation, which essentially means better low end and high end. Got some nice looks, some Leary paint schemes. We've also got some choice extras and Acracan. I don't know if that's a full system. A bit of crash protection, some flappy. Oh, well, that's a bit wobbly, isn't it? Wobbly sausage, mummy. Radial caliper, just the one. Mrs. Wembley, 4-piston caliper. I think it's probably a 2-piston actually. 41mm shocks, 810mm seat height. The bike weighs 140 kilos. I could literally bench that with not too much issue. But let's throw a leg over it and see what it's like to ride, shall we? That's why you're here, after all. Right, start up the dash. Got a little LCD, no, TFT jib job. Oh ho ho! And she roars into life. Actually, that doesn't sound too bad, actually. Yeah, it sounds pretty good. Oh, it's got a tail tidy as well. So it's ultra cool. Right, let's get going. And let's talk about this little, frisky little 125, shall we? Power! Right, yes. So, 125cc single, putting out a whopping 14.7 horsepower, but who's counting? And I think that's all the way up at 10,000 RPM. 11.5 Newton meters of torque. So, you know, not too bad. Well, you do need to be in the right gear though, Danny boy. We've got 41mm upside down forks, which are actually pretty girthy for a bike of this size and weight. We've got that single caliper up front. By the way, 77% of you who watch my videos aren't subscribed, so if you could do me a solid, hit that subscribe button, go through the catalogue of videos that I've got, hopefully you'll find something you like. Also hit like, that really does help tell the algorithm to recommend my videos to other similar people as yourself. Thank you for listening. Here we go, power. Oh, you can hear the VVA kicking in. It does pull, you know, it does pull quite nicely. Obviously, it's a 125. Yes! It feels quite sketchy, but fun. How's that brake like? Yeah, that's brake's not too bad. Oh, right, so yeah, variable valve actuation. It's got good torque down low, but also keeps pulling all the way up to the red line. Yeah, it's good for a 125 to have that technology, because it just, what I found in other 125s is that they just lose, especially for I won't say a heavier gentleman, but someone of my weight, about 90 kilos, it does, oh, come on, Dick Cheese, what are you doing? Dick Cheese. See, I'm getting into the spirit of being a young person. Come on, knob jockey. Oh, I don't know what I was saying anyway. But yeah, because other 125s that I've ridden, and I've not ridden many recently, but they do lose out at the top end massively. And that's where you really struggle. So you couldn't take many 125s on the motorway because they're just dangerous. I have ridden this on the motorway, so I've had this for a week, and it did 80 miles an hour. I mean, 70, an indicated 80, which was obviously just 70, right? Right, here we go. Third gear, roll on. Roll on deodorant. Oh, the suspension is quite sporty and firm. The bike only weighs 142 kilos, which is like me plus my lunch. Seat is quite hard, actually. It does feel ever so sprightly. It's got a 140 rear section, so it doesn't feel too... Oh, it does feel flighty, but not in a bad way. It actually feels quite fun, and it doesn't look too bad. Like the rear tyre on the 125 I had, I kid you not, the diameter of my indicators was bigger than the width of my tyre, and I loved that bike until I saw that, and then I was just like, oh. so disappointed. That was back in 2003, so quite a while ago, 23 years ago. It was the Suzuki GS125, which had about a claimed 12 horsepower, but I reckon it had about 8. It could not pull the skin off a rice pudding. But this, on the other hand, actually feels, it's got a bit of get up and go to it, you know. So I'm just going to do my usual little test route, which I quite like. There you go, red phone box, very British, quintessentially British, you could say. What else can we talk about? Yeah, traction control. Look, does it need it? No, probably not. But I suppose you don't have to use it if you don't want it. It's got ABS as well, which is in Europe. That's something you cannot deactivate. It's very good system as well. ABS is very useful in the real world. But traction control on a 125 with only less than 15 horsepower. Don't know. Jury's out on that one. But again, you can disable it in the menu. Right, here we go. Let's drop down to second. Try not to throw one of the pistons through the engine. Here we go. That does feel... Whoa, do you know what? That feels quite exhilarating. Just because it feels a little bit wrong. Whoa. I regularly ride bikes that have over 150 horsepower. And this is as exciting as those. Maybe if I had it for longer I might not feel that way, but certainly today it's quite fun. Oh Jesus, there's gravel and mud everywhere. Ooh. So yeah, let's go back to that traction control system, because I know people are going to be like, oh, it doesn't need it. Well, no, I kind of agree with you. At the same time, if you are a learner, because that's who this bike is aimed at, learners on an L plate. In our country, that's 17. You have to be 17 years old. You've had to have done your CBT, which is your cycling basics test. I don't know what it means. I've forgotten. But it's like a day in a school with an instructor, then you go out on the road later in the day, and you essentially get a ticket to go and ride a bike on your own for 2 years. After which time you can either choose to get your full test done, or just renew your CBT for another 2 years if you like. Yes! So that's who this bike is aimed for, you know, young people. And it's certainly got the look. And I've got to say, that engine is actually quite impressive. Once you get past you just have to have it above 8,000 RPM all the time, it's quite fun. It handles brilliantly, so you know, those 41 inch then, 41 mil shocks up front, which I imagine are Kayaba, they do a really good job. And you know what? It's not too harsh. It's actually quite forgiving for the road. Now, the roads around here are absolutely abysmal. Potholes and bumps galore. And this isn't doing too bad. Quite impressed. Got a link type monoshock at the rear. I imagine that's got preload adjustability, but we'll stop and check when we do the walk around in a bit. We're going to jump on the motorway quickly as well. I'm absolutely wide open in fifth. So yeah, on that little set of twisties just there, that was really quite fun. Oh, do come along, Jeffrey. Are you dead? Right, we're going to jump on the motorway and just see what it's like. As I said, I have already done commuting on this, on the M3, which was somewhat disconcerting. Oh, this is the only problem coming out on a weekday, is the flipping traffic is just so bloody shit. Right, here we go. Let's see, we're outpacing the van. Haha, loser. Come on, little 125. We can get to 70 at least, surely. We are on a bit of an incline though. Come on, you can do it. Oh, 66. Come on, 67. Yes. Don't say it. Don't say it. Oh, 8, my favourite number. Right, we're at 71. Dare I go into 6th gear? Yes, we're in 6th gear. We're at an indicated 74, which, you know, this is about 10% out in terms of accuracy, so we're still only just doing about 70 in real terms. But let's see if we can indicate it to 80. I think we can. Come on. Yes. There we go. Oh, I think we're going to be hitting an incline that's going to slow us down a bit. Oh, back down to 79. Oh no, we're slowing down. Oh, let's just at least get past these trucks. Right, I might have to slipstream the next one. Right, let's move in. Come on. We're down to 72. We're going uphill. I'm a bit of a fatty. Oh no! We might have to go into 5th gear. Come on! Come on, little 125, you can do it. Yes! Yes! I can hear those valves working. Right, slingshot. We've got the slingshot. This is hilarious. Come on, we're tapped. We look stupid. Oh, we're having fun though. This is great. Oh, it's got 6 gears as well. Unlike my 125 back in the day, which only had 5 gears. Uphill is a bit of a struggle, but you can just about do 70 miles an hour uphill. I weigh about 90 kilos, probably about 95, 96 with all my bike gear on, maybe a little bit more because I've got my camera bag on them as well. So if you're a young person, you're going to weigh, I don't know, what do young people weigh? 30 kilos? I don't know. I've no idea. You'll be quicker than this, is what I'm trying to say. That's the general point. Yes! But there you go. It can do 70 on the dual carriageway or motorway. So, even though if you're on L-plates you can't go on the motorway, you can go on dual carriageways. I think. Pretty sure you can. So it's pretty usable, I think. Lovely, smooth gear changes. It's got an assist and slipper clutch, which is absolutely... That's really like one-fingered operation. You only need one finger, sir. Well, it's a bike that appeals to young people, so I'm going in there with the juvenile humour. Oh, it does tip on its ear quite nicely. It's a right little rascal. I wonder if we could clutch up wheelie it into first gear, maybe. We'd have to turn traction off. Seat is quite hard, I'll say that, and my knees are quite bent up. Don't know how good it would be for me on a longer journey, but I am old. I'm the wrong side of 40, let's just say that. Bars are quite wide actually, surprisingly so. I thought it'd be a bit more narrow, but that gives you good leverage. You know, this bike is really good for these sort of back roads. That's where it is the most fun. Stay there, thank you, thank you. A couple of birds having a fight. I've got a Toyota Yaris up my Harris. Right, 20 miles an hour, 3rd gear, what's that like? So our response is a little bit snatchy, low down. But you know, I'm going to blame Euro 5 shenanigans for that. Power! Yes! God, it's so light and nimble. This on a go-kart track would be absolutely brilliant. So let's talk about some chassis components. It's got a Delta Box inspired frame. It's got an aluminium swing arm, that's just to keep the weight down. It's got R125 derived electronics and the VVA system, as well as traction. Hasn't got an IMU. I think the Honda CB125 has an IMU, which that's even the next level of technology on a 125, isn't it? Do you know what? If a bike like this had existed when I was riding 125s, I would have been jizzing in my pants. All we had is things like the Honda CG125, the CBF 125. There wasn't I think it was the Yamaha YB 125, something like that. Not the most inspired motorcycles. You guys these days, you don't know how good you've got it. Right, we're going to have to knock it down a couple of gears. Woohoo! Come on! Let's go! We're leaving the Yaris for dust! Oh dear. Woo! Right, we're going to have to pull in here. That is what she said. Ooh. Yeah, those brakes aren't bad. Brakes aren't bad at all. Right, let's hit these speed bumps at 30, see what that's like. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. I think I need to call the doctor. I've just had a prolapse. Oh, the suspension is firm. Definitely firm. But actually, you know, 30 is quite quick to hit these on a naked machine. Yeah, the suspension actually does a really good job of just giving you a lot of support. Like it's not wallowy, there's not loads of diving when you're braking. That front brake is surprisingly good. I wonder if I can do a stoppie. Probably not. If I lean over. Oh yeah, we had the back wheel off the ground. Oh, this is the good thing about these sorts of bikes. They just encourage you to dick about. We're getting an average of 111 miles per gallon, which is bloody brilliant. Let's scroll through this. So I've done 55 miles, and it's not even used any of the chunks from the fuel gauge yet, which is pretty good, I think. Oh, we'll just have a quick look at the menu. So you've got this little scroll wheel, which not a massive fan of that, but that allows you to scroll through your doohickers. So you've got trip 1, trip 2, instant fuel, MPG, which will show when you're riding, average fuel, and coolant temp. But let's oh, actually, if I just hold that down as well, then you've got the settings, and you've got your themes. You've got lots of different themes. MT, street, brand, and exit. I'm just going to leave it as is. And there's your traction control. Let's switch that off, because what I want to see is, so if I turn it off and on again, I bet that reactivates it. No. Oh, no, it does. Damn it. So, unfortunately, power cycling the bike does, unfortunately, reset the traction. But I suppose that's a bit of a safety feature. Right. Yamaha MT-125. What do we think? Well, I love the colour. I think the colour's really nice. Very leery. This does have a few extras, as I said. I'm not sure if these wobbly sausage bits are extras. We've got some crash protection there. We've got the Acra system. I think that might be a full system. Those look like titanium headers to me. That will be expensive, no doubt. You've got pillion pegs if you want to put someone through being on the back of the bike. It's also got the tail toddy, which I think does look quite smart. It looks like a bigger bike than a 125. Yeah, 140 rear section tyre, so it does look quite chunky. Chunky monkey. So you've got those nice aggressive DRLs and the single beam there, and I'm pretty sure that's the same one they've used on the Tracer and 9. And so there's your brakes. Single twin piston, or probably a twin piston caliper, radially mounted. 292mm disc. Little radiator there, little belly pans, some nice cowly bits. Bit plastic fantastic, but you know, it is a 125. There's your quite girthy girthy forks. I mean, the bike, it weighs 142 kilos fully fueled, and it's just, you know, it's like a toy. You could literally just pull it off with one hand. Anyway. Yeah, aggressive looks, which, like I said, I think that's going to appeal to the younger crowd, which is exactly who this is aimed at. You've got a bit of a hugger as well there. Pretty cool. Right, yes, let's have a look at the rear shock, which is a linkage type shock. Can we see? I can't see that it's got any adjustment in there, but you've got that linkage, Bananarama style. Yeah, I think it's a nice looking thing. No quick shifter. I don't know if you can get one standard. I don't know if you can get one as an option, I mean, but it's got these gaps here. I don't know, that looks a bit ugly, I think. I think they could have had some kind of infill. I don't know if there's something meant to be there. Maybe, I don't know. It looks a bit unfinished. But other than that, build quality is pretty good, I think. Delta box style frame, aluminium swing arm just to keep the weight down. Yes, lovely looking little bike, I think. What do you think? Let me know in les comments. Right, I'm going to take some pictures, get some B-roll, and we'll come back and have a bit more fun. Bye. Go for a bit more of a ride, talk about some of the competition, and then my final kind of thoughts. Oh, that seat is so painful. For me, I'm sure if you're a young person, Might be okay. Power. Right. Yeah, so competition for this bike then. We're talking about the Honda CB125R, the Kawasaki Z125, and also the Suzuki GSX S125. I think those are the main competitors to this naked MT-125. I'm sure there's a load of Chinese bikes as well that will compete directly against this, and they'll be a lot cheaper. Now I've mentioned the price. This bike comes in at £5,300, which, you know, there's no two ways about it. That's a lot of money for a 125. But I do think the prices of 125s has gone up, because it's kind of it's a closed audience, isn't it? You've really got people over a barrel a little bit. I mean, I know there are cheaper options out there, but if you want a performant 125 machine with all the latest technology, then you got to pay the price. And it's not just this bike, you know, the other Japanese 125s are also in the same ballpark as this. They're not quite as expensive. I think the closest rival in terms of price is the Suzuki GSX S125 at £5,000. The other two are a bit cheaper, but they're all over 4.5. I'll put a graphic up on screen so you can see that. You know, as I alluded to earlier, there are going to be cheaper Chinese bikes, but the problem you got with those bikes is that the cheap end of Chinese bikes isn't going to be particularly good. Spares are going to be sparse if you crash it, and let's be honest, you know, learner bikes are going to get crashed and abused. You could argue maybe that's not the best way to go with it. I can't help but smile, so I think that kind of proves the point that rarely do spec sheets equals fun, because, you know, this bike's got less than 15 horsepower and I'm still having a right laugh on it. So there's something to be learnt there, I think, because I get so many comments saying, oh, but this bike's got this and this bike hasn't got an IMU, therefore it's rubbish. It's like, what world do you live in where if a bike doesn't have an IMU it's no good? Like, unless you're bloody Casey Stoner and you're riding it at Phillip Island on track, I think you need to behave yourself a bit. You know, the 125 segment is competitive, but at the same time they're all sort of the same price. And I do think that's where the Chinese could come in and really shake things up a bit. If they haven't already, they probably have. I don't get to ride many of these 125s, so it's not a segment I'm massively familiar with, but things certainly have moved on from when I was riding 125s. Like I said, yeah, my bike was not very good looking. It didn't have much power. But, you know, it was my own little freedom machine, and that's what motorcycles offer. Especially for young people. Oh, third gear. Didn't like that. Especially for young people. My mate's daughter's just passed her CBT. And it's just the freedom they offer, you know. I know cars could also offer freedom, but bikes are just a little bit different. You get to... They're just more fun. They're more raw. Yeah, they're riskier. Of course they are. But yeah, I'm actually quite impressed with this. I thought it would be... A gutless bike was difficult to ride, but it's actually been pleasantly surprising. Like, I honestly believe I could live on one of these. I just have to take the back roads everywhere. I mean, it can do 70, 80 on the motorway, albeit indicated, but, you know, still. You're going to be able to keep up with most traffic, even on the motorway, on this. And it's just fun. It's inherently fun. It's got pretty decent suspension, decent brakes. Oh, smoky. Looks great, I think. Looks really good. I love the ice fluo colour. Very leery. You know, it's got traction control, so if you do have to ride it in the winter, or, you know, invariably there's lots of diesel and roundabouts, so that could certainly save you a bit. I know most people might scoff at it, but like I said, it only has to save you once, and it's been worthwhile. And if it really bothers you, you can turn it off. You jump into the menu, it takes literally like 5 seconds. It's got it all! Woohoo! You have to be careful, it's quite gravelly around here. And it is just an absolute bloody hoot to ride, and that is, I think that's the most important thing, right? It's just fun to ride. You can ride it sensibly if you want to. Let's just poodle around at 30. We're in 5th gear, 6th gear. I mean, you're not going to really be in that gear, are you, doing that speed? But you can if you want to, you know, you can poodle around. And you've got to think about who's using this. So it's going to be 17, 18-year-olds. They're going to be hooning over to their mates. They're going to be hooning around town. They're probably not going to be on country roads that much. But I would say if you are looking at one of these bikes and you're that age, take it out onto a country road. You'll have a right blast. A couple of these bikes and a nice country route somewhere would be such a laugh. Ooh, Aston, nice. Move over, Aston. I've got variable valves, don't you know? This is quite a big bumpy bit here. That wasn't that bad, actually. And look, we're catching up this Vauxhall shite box. So you know, you can keep up and go quicker than traffic. Oh my goodness, are we asleep at the wheel, Margaret? I'm going to turn off traction actually, so hold down the menu button. Go, yeah, traction off. Exit. Right, here we go. Here we go, come on! 30. 40. 50. Can we get to 60 before the road runs out? Maybe not! Oh no! Not quite. There's a turning there, so you know. Ah, how fun though! What a fun little thing. So let's talk about pros and cons. I'll hit you up with the negatives first of all. It is expensive, right? £5,300 for a 125 bike is expensive, and I think you know, there are certainly cheaper options. In fact, every other bike is a cheaper option, but I would also add to that no other bike has this VVA system, and it does look and go really bloody well. So there is that. The seat is quite hard, but having said that, if you're a young man or a young lady, I don't think it's going to bother you. I'm an old duffer, so, you know, don't listen to me, basically. Other negatives. The only other negative I can think of is, actually there's two. That menu wheel's a bit rubbish. They actually changed that on most of our other bikes. And there's a bit of a gap at the back by the seat, which I showed you earlier. Right. Lots of positives. Fun little engine. Let's try not to go under a tractor. Fun little engine. Surprisingly pokey. Look at the VVA system. It's even lit up telling us it's got the VVA. Got the VVAs! Really, really good brakes actually. Quite impressive from that single caliper and disc up front. Rear isn't too bad as well. And it looks great, handles great, got a nice thick rear tyre so you don't look silly like I did on my first 125 motorcycle. And you know, it's a Yamaha, so you know it's going to be reliable, you know there's going to be parts and spares and plentiful dealer support. But ultimately, you know, you pay your money, you take your choice. If you really want a super cheap Chinese 125 that is like £2,000, I don't think it's going to last you. Or, you know, you might get lucky. You might get lucky. And I own a Chinese bike, but there's a place for them for sure. But I would certainly spend a little bit extra. I'm not saying £5,000 is what I spend. Can we do a wheelie? I've got about an inch. Right, I will leave you there. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you go out today, do ride safe, but remember to have fun, of course. Otherwise, what's the flipping point, eh? Until next time, you take care. Peace. I'm out of here on my 125. Woohoo!